You know,
One of the world's best, man.
That's right.
you know, that's just at the end of the day. Sometimes you just have to be like, man, I'm just athletic as hell
Yeah.
and land
Yeah.
on. That's all it is.
Experience translates to what? Pure high mechanic play. Onyx Philippines destroy a tower down bottom, as well as Edward going for the cut lanes up top.
Okay, so this little bit of the dust will settle, but Arctic Philippines with that push onto the bottom lane is really massive. Now, gonna have to think, do we fight the next turtle? And if you're Arctic Philippines, you kind of have to. Your timer will expire. Surely there was a time where you can burst on both UA and Oh My Venus in a snap, but when the defensive items come in, now gonna have a bad time. So they have to press on, especially when they're facing up against a Melissa.
We're talking about windows on how to defend up against Oh My Venus and Yue, but look at that, Ryota poking on Edward.
On point, Rio.
Poking him down. Edward quite low here. Can't elect the final blow out of there. Now they're going to be setting up the box here around this turtle. It's the third one of the game. Who's going to be able to grab it? The feathered airstrike zoning him out. And it goes over to Wise pretty easily, despite Sensui being there as well. Bottom side, though, 1 versus 1. Marksman versus marksman, and Super Red comes out on top.
All right, 2 things. First, we did say during the draft that when it comes to a marksman versus marksman battle, it's going to be Melissa who's going to be having a better time because you need the nuke mage, and I think that was a mistake, a misjudgment from Onyx Philippines. Second point, when they do find the kill onto Edward, it looked like Onyx Philippines had the advantage on the turtle, but you saw how much slow there was from OI Venus. He didn't even have the Ice Queen 1 when that fight happened, but it was already very sticky around the box of Blacklist International with all of the slows that they have.
Just imagine how you would survive in mid-game. This is the one that we're trying to discuss about, right? The magic damage in Onyx Philippines. Since it's mostly, we could rely on Super Prince, right? What when will be that time? Because he only has the Clock of Destiny to really suffice the damage up against Blacklist International's mid-game power spike.
Mid-game power spike's going to be crucial, right? I mean, Blacklist International in general, now that the turtles are pretty much done with, right? The next big objective is going to be the Lord here. I can see both teams full force fighting it. They don't want to give it up, but hold on. Action in the mid lane. Super Prince has to flicker it out. Colt Ulter as well. Kekadute a little bit late here. Electro final blow under the turret. They find Super Prince. They're still going at it. Nets joining the party, trying to decide an angle to enter from. Can't find it, though. A little bit too late. It's Super Prince that falls.
Great clash from both teams, but ultimately Blacklist International likes what is happening. Then again, most of their turrets are now falling down. This is one thing that Onyx Philippines can have.
Kekadute gonna find Oh My Venus. They get the lockdown with a heavy spin. Now working on Wise. They're gonna back off for now. Happy with the 1. Lord now spawning a couple seconds away. Onyx Philippines with a numbers advantage.
Great activation of Gary. They actually ported him in the mid lane. After the kill onto Oh My Venus, now they have access to the Lord. Without the box from Blacklist International, this is more winnable for Onyx Philippines.
They might wait up until Yue uses that ultimate, but I believe they won't risk it.
Oh, they're going to
Kekadute and Ryota being trapped.
Edward now coming from the backside, looking for Kekadute, does find him. Lord, though, secured by Onyx Philippines, so they grab that first big objective here. Can they play around it despite losing a member?
Wow. I think that they can. Maybe they can get a outer turret into the mid lane or maybe up top lane. A Pit Master. Wow, I love it. Ranked first in total turtle kills, and they take out Super Red up top. One thing I want to say, Ryota has been playing well this game. Was on point. Took down Edward in the second turtle take, and now during the Lord take, he was the one with Kekadute to force Wise to actually commit the retribution in the purple buff, which meant that there was no contest at all for Blacklist International.
Since Onyx Philippines has so much mobility and damage up against Blacklist International, I say this is how they countered the geometry of damage that they have, right? The plug and play and how they wanted to peel 1. Edward!
Oh, Edward barely escaped, but here comes Sensui under the turret with a heavy spin. Able to find Edward. Still looking for more. Oh My Venus going to be in trouble quite low. They don't get the kill. The burn's not enough. And now Wise trying to zone everybody out the best he can with UA. Oh My Venus there to back him up, but can't help enough. They back off.
Whew. See how Wise holds his ground? It's a one-for-one trade-off that Onyx Philippines would love to have, especially because they are able to utilize the Lord in a cross-map kind of way. They took one turret only, however, but they did take out a very important hero, which was Edward. Now they're leading by 2.1 thousand, so Onyx Philippines are happy about the results.
As the progress goes for the yellow Hedgehogs, I say this gold lead, they need to hold this until we go further off of this game, because the problem is the ultimate of Yue is much more faster up against, well, Super Prince. So as we see the damage from the burn and also from Wise's ultimate, I say they have more coverage if ever they lose one set from Kekadut, right?
Yeah, they got to be careful, though. Even with that being said, you know, Yue able to provide a lot of burst, but what's happening is Onyx Philippines is just finding their own setups, right? Even with this poking that Blacklist International can do, you have to keep an eye on Kakadu, because a lot of the times it's him and Sensui finding targets, locking them down, and allowing Nets to just pretty much unleash.
A bit of battle there, as you saw from both junglers, as they want to aggress each other. But you know, Blacklist International have been doing a great job defending this mid lane. Well, they do have 2 Nuke mages, so it's not a very difficult task to have. But keeping that means that Blacklist International will have some farm choices, especially protecting their jungle from the mid lane path.
Yeah, they have wave clear. They have a good push from Yue and Oh My Venus. I say the problem for Blacklist International is the price setup that Kekadut has. He's been saving that flicker for the most important moments that they have, because to see Super Red is on Inspire, man. And, well, the ultimate could be the one saving him, but Ekadut's presence right now, he gives a lot of coverage for those ways that either Oni can bounce back.
That's unfair, right? If you're inspired and encouraged, right? So,
Yeah.
But it's not working so far for Super Red. He's really got to have the advantage here. But right now, it's been all Onyx Philippines as they find Wise. Wise is taken out just like that. So this could be a good position for Onyx Philippines to be in. They're going to go ahead and work on this Lord here. They get the flick around from Super Prince, but there's nothing Blacklist International can do to contest this Lord.
Oh, Ryota.
Ryota getting the flick around from Oh My Venus. They're on the run. Too much damage, though. Ryota with a play.
How do you stop a moving Joy? No. You can't.
That's the answer?
Yeah, you can't.
Even with all of the encouragements and all of the inspiration, you can't.
This is the problem now, because the damage even for Ness is really showing up for Blacklist International. They have setups from Kekadut, but he's not using any flicker yet. So how is Blacklist International sees a chance here? Super Dad has claws, but is that enough up against Onyx Philippines right now, Wolf?
I think that they need all of the items that all fully packed items, and I think Wise also needs to tank up more. He's not able to farm up as you would expect him. He doesn't even have like magic defense, like outright magic defense, right? Surely you can get that from both Molten Essence, but look at him go. Oh. Look at him go away.
That has happened time and time again. Wise getting locked down here. Yue escaping with a little sliver of health. They're going to lose their inhibitor turret mid lane. Onyx Philippines just unleashing on Blacklist International. Begs the question, is this double mage setup in the mid lane worth it here? Right now, it's a tough time. Edward trying to do his best, going to get quite low. The boxes came down. Super Red defending the best he can. There's the feathered airstrike. They get the immortality out here. Oh My Venus still looking to clean up. Super Red able to get the kill. They lose 2 turrets in the base, but hold on for longer.
Wow. You can see the defense from both Farside Eve is just almost impenetrable. Although Onyx Philippines did take out one hero, that was Wise, and they took out 2 inhibitors, but you know, this is going to be good for Blacklist International. They have great defenses, and Onyx Philippines, they lead by 7,000, but that doesn't mean that all of their troubles are over. They have to find a way to take out both Oh My Venus and Yue out of the equation before they are able to completely push through the base of Blacklist International.
They're not out of the jungle yet, because if Onyx Philippines want to secure this win, oh, Sensui!
They're going to get the Colt Ultra out here from Onyx Philippines. Ryota jumping into 4, gets the flicker out, now Net's there as well. A lot of resources here expended by both teams. They go back. Lord still 40 seconds away here, while Edward holds down that bottom side.
It's still an even ball game, right? But now Nets really had a chance to pile up those gold, ranking #1 up against the gold laner of Blacklist International. How is this?
Oh. Well, they need to utilize that in 30 seconds or 20 seconds. Say that. Long lane gonna be controlled by both the XP laners. You can see that Wise and Kekadut might touch shoulders in a little bit. Nets showed himself kind of baiting Wise in this, but they do know there's a lot of vision. That's International.
Go there, Wise. Taking the brunt of the damage, gets pulled with I'm Offended. Immortality going to be popped here. Ryota making his way to the fight as well as Edward. There's the response. They back off for a little bit. They're going to pull the Lord out of the pit here. Which he wants to commit here. Ultimate's down 3 for Onyx Philippines. They still got the advantage, but Wise not going to let this one go here as this Lord dance ensues.
That was a good pull from Wise, man. I mean, the peel and the pull. He get 2 ultimates out. Now, how will they manage to steal it? It's Sensui and Wise. The Retribution battle is on, but Black International is all over the place.
Black International going to push them back here. Look at Super Prince going from the angle. Still,
Wise,
they're going to have to
Sensui.
fight for it. Wise and Sensui. It's going to come down to
Nets.
that.
No way.
Nets again. Pushing into the face. Nets again with a normal day as he takes game number 1 in Nets fashion.
I'm going to say it again. Nothing but Nets in Season 11.
Whoops. Whoops reaction.
We were
How you
So
feeling, Whoop?
focused in the Lord fight, right? In the Lord pit. The pit master being in there, that's Sensui. And all of a sudden, you see this play once again from Nets. No, not even needing the rapid boots, or did he? We don't know. But I don't remember. Another day at the office at Onyx Philippines, at least for Nets. Yeah, a guy from the office is Nets.
It's another normal day for Nets.
Yeah, that's what he means, man. You know, I'm just going to put on my shoes.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my way to the base.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
We were looking. We were talking about how the Lord dances would work against Wise and Sui. Oh, you forgot about me.
Yeah.
I'm still here. And this shows something different from Onyx Philippines because on the previous season, it was like there's one player who's shining through the games and teamwork. Now it's all of them functioning as one unit.
I think it was, for me personally, I think this was Ryota's game.
Yeah.
Surely we saw that Nets was the one to break the base, like what we saw with that winning play. But Ryota all throughout the game was very instrumental to their victories.
That's correct because I even questioned, you know, is it worth the joy priority pick? Well, Ryota, I see now.
I see now.
Great job there because, yeah, he was that mosquito all over the place, right? He even got, like you said, the solo kill, you know, from Edward. And I'm surprised too that this wasn't even a back door. It was literally straight up the mid lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, they saw avenues, saw potentials. How is game number 1? It's Onyx Philippines. Just got scored against Blacks International.
Well, that's very true, casters. As we saw in that previous game, it was definitely the Nets another day in the office kind of move we saw from Onyx Philippines, but it was weird because it's not even a backdoor play. It's not a segue. It's literally in the middle. And how come Blacklist International forgot about that? Well, they didn't. It was more of the result of what happened in the early stages of the game, adding up all together, piling up to go and go up against Blacklist International. Let's look at the stats here. I want you to look at Mr. Ryota himself, 2-1-1 with a lot of gold, with the choice of going for the Vengeance and the Magic Worship, allowing him to be the pressure, apply the pressure onto the 2 nuke mages that's available for Blacklist International. That's Farsa as well as the Eve. So you're not always safe if you're playing Yue, if you're Yue or Ome Venus, not having a good time in this game, just because of the fact that was Ryota being a problem for them. And not only that, even Wise as well as Edward suffered the consequences of giving out the joy to a team. And this is probably the reason why it's always banned out. In fact, he dealt the most damage in this game. That's Ryota, the ace for this game. Let's look at Sensui as well. Being the Guardian, Akai eventually just being very crucial to the first and the third Lord. The first and the third turtle take, as well as the Lord takes, coming out from Onyx Philippines. And then, of course, the rich guy, Nets, the carry, ending the game eventually. Now, why do we say that this is just a result of what happened in the the early minutes of the game? Because that's what I saw. Nets, although he landed the killing blow, all of those things that Onyx Philippines built up was the real reason why they were able to end the game. And it's all because of how they managed to take resources from the game one after the other, particularly taking all of those lord takes, then eventually just securing that lane advantage in the mid lane, pressuring that, fast pushing that so that nobody will be taking care of the neutral objectives for Blacklist International in the last minutes. Nets will be the MVP. 2-1-3 with all of the items he has right now. The Trinity that they have been calling, it's the Golden Staff, Demon Hunter Sword, the Corrosion Scythe. Perfect for attack speed based heroes. Let's look at the highlights now. As Kekidut just picking up the sack after being killed with first blood, they take him off. And this was one of the bad decisions from Onyx Philippines, just trying to invade when there was a second turtle that's happening. Fortunately for them, for the Yellow Hedgehogs, they did not get punished afterwards. They do secure the turtle, but it's not going to be enough to take the victory to Blacklist International afterwards. Wise, this is the great play that you saw. Cyclone Knife fade away. Look at him go. Look at him. Position himself here. And look at that timing with the taunt after the flicker. Why am I doing the play-by-play here? I should be doing that.
So
that
amazing.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you. But that was great that you can see coming up from Wise. It wasn't enough though. You can see the pokes on my Venus gonna be exposed and eventually a kill. Even after a wonderful taunt here coming out from Wise, Onyx Philippines still manages to win the battle. Again, catching off Wise here, bursting him down. Look at Ryota go, just making sure that there will be no steals on the Lord whatsoever. Still even secures the kill onto Oh My Venus. Another snag that Sensui isolating Wise once again. Great defense coming out from Blacklist International, as they do have two nuke mages to clear the waves, but it will not be enough as Nets ushered all of the lanes from the middle with super minions in there because they have already taken out the inhibitor turret. Anyways, you saw how it was good for the side of Onyx Philippines. And let's look at the checklist, right? So far, they were able to recognize Kekadut's hero pool, but they still gave him the Ruby, which was one of his, I would say, one of his favorite picks. And also, the Lord Dance coming up from Sensui and Gold Laners and their positioning. There was one time that there was a great duel between two marksmen, but eventually it was Nets and his macro positioning to secure game. My goodness, what was that?
I feel like the biggest key to victory there is Gold Laner's positioning.
Yeah.
You know, maybe behind everybody else and looking eyes dead on the base. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like at that point it's like, how many times has this happened? You know, and I know that there was like, I think it was season 10 where there was that patch with the turrets and everything, right?
Yeah, they
changed everything. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we need to revisit that. I don't know.
Are we?
It is a strategy. I get it. It's a strategy, and it's something that teams should always be wary about. You know, so definitely is something possible up the sleeves that any team honestly can do.
It's all about watching your 6 if you're up against Onyx Philippines, because if you want to check your recall, you might watch your 6. Because in this match, you talk about positioning, right? Just notice how Joy or Ryota got his hands on the Divine Glaive in Genius 1 first. Talking about burn magic damage, scorch magic damage, and the positioning, the mobility was lacking in the side of Blacklist International. You can't escape that, man. They were all burning.
Yeah, they were burning, yes. And another part of it, of that whole picture here, OSX, is this is, when you were looking at the highlights, right, you saw how many times Wise got locked down. And I feel like that was the risk here, right, with this lineup specifically because when you have Oh My Venus and also UA on two mages, yes, that can work great. But if Wise is getting pretty much locked down every time, he's dead before the objective dance starts, it's really tough to deal with. So I'm sure they're going to fix that going into the next game.
Well, as the game goes today, experience the MPL Philippines Season 11 action live at Shooting Gallery Studios. The tickets are available now at tickettome.net, so get yours today. Just imagine enjoying the crowd here right at our backs, enjoying the game, and as the weekend goes, man, reserve your seat.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to the topic, right, about Wise, because now I think that it's one of those like typical analysis when you see like a no tag setup wherein you don't really have a way to alleviate the pressure away from your jungler, right? So because surely you have tank junglers, but it's also coupled up with another tank like Lolita, for example, or maybe something like a Cho or some another support hero. But this was one of those games where you say that both Eve and Farsa needs cover, so who now covers the jungler, right? There's nobody like taking care of the jungler. So I guess that's one thing that Onyx Philippines have exploited.
I felt like Edward was trying to do that.
Yeah.
You know, like he was trying to provide at least a little bit of that support to Wise.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's just kind of distracting people, trying to land the electro final blow and things like that. But unfortunately, it just didn't work. And it was also, again, because of a lot of the lockdown potential they had. And then while Edward and Wise were in the front and, you know, you had the rest pretty much trying to get space, that's why Ryota did so well, because he was on the Joy and he would just make a beeline to the backside, and then it was just, you know, chaos from there.
Yeah, there was no frontline defense for Blacklist International. As this being talked about, right? Lolita could be a good option, could be a great, counter to protect Oh My Vitas and Yue. But how about what we talked about in game number 1? What if we see the variant now for Blacklist International, a change? What if Renegade goes out? Will it work up against Onyx Philippines?
I think so. You know, I always say, I mean, at this point, whenever you ask me, anybody asks me that question, I always just say, no, they're just plug and play, man. It's like
Still the same.
It's like playing on a, you know, you have your own, like I said in the Tagalog Filipino broadcast, they have a computer already, and between Renegade and Edward, it's just a different mouse.
So it's like changing your mouse.
It's just literally just changing your mouse.
Changing your mice.
The DPS, yeah.
Mice.
Either you have one, or no, actually, I guess since they're more plug and play, they're pretty much the fancy mice.
Yeah, yeah.
That you have all the buttons.
Yeah.
Maybe not having all the buttons in a hologram, right?
Yeah.
It's all about advanced technology.
That's not plug and play yet, and we don't know that.
What if it's just a port in the computer, right?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know what kind of mouse you're playing with, man.
Yeah, it's more of like a touchpad for some reason, or
Oh,
mouse, depends. But I get what you mean about mouses or mice.
Because you're because you're using the the high end computers,
No,
perhaps.
No.
We go traditional.
I go with
my
a wired one.
My mouse is a mouse ball, you know.
Really? You still have it?
Yeah, I
really?
still have it.
Wow. It brings back so many memories.
I don't even have a computer.
Really? You don't have
I'm living in 2023 without a computer.
really?
Yeah, you know.
I can't imagine how your day goes. But if we go how Nets, I can imagine how his social media will blast after
think,
having
like,
a normal day.
Yeah, his tagline needs to be like, it's just a normal day.
Normal
That's
day.
normal day.
I show my shoes. I walk. Go to studio. Go to Makati and
It's the employee of the month. Yeah.
Nets.
Yeah.
Could they actually change or trim down choices for Nets or even for Kekadut?
It's not even about the heroes.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
agree.
it's just the mindset of Nets to be like, all right, this is, and the rest of Onyx Philippines be like, all right, this is a great moment for me to, do what I'm known for. You're marching the base while everybody's so sent. I mean, even I'm sure viewers out there, ourselves as casters here, again, we built up the story
Yeah.
of the two junglers going head to head, and that's kind of what we saw with that Lord fight. And then it's like, oh yeah, by the way,
Oh, I'm here.
yeah.
By the way,
Just saying hi, just gonna go to work. And okay, this confirms it. No change. It's still Edward for the EXP lane of Blacklist International. So this changes if there's new ways of getting that first pick, right? Will be Blacks International now on the other side up against Onyx Philippines. So let's see how the problems will be solved into game number 2.
Well, you can see they're going to start with the same sides here, right? Onyx Philippines also. I just see them doing very similar bans. If you notice from the previous game, they like blanket banned Oh My Venus, which is what a lot of teams do against Blacklist International. And in a way, that was kind of effective, and at least in the last game, because it forced Blacklist International to be like, let's just try this. Let's just try the roam, the roam Eve. And unfortunately for them, it didn't work out the way they wanted it to.
yeah. I think that they had we did say that could be Lolita or Melissa during their third pick or their third slot for Blacklist International. They opted to go for the Melissa, understandably so, but that meant that the Lolita was banned out by Onyx Philippines, and it could have been the perfect play. And that's also true with what Blacklist did. They picked up the Eve because it will be great for Onyx Philippines' lineup, but them, snatching that pick kind of didn't help their course. So I think that there will be a lot of changes for Blacklist International, more like they want to be more conventional in their drafting pattern here.
Yep.
So expect a more, standardized gameplay from Blacklist International.
Could we see the lapu-lapu, right? And mostly the glue. Glue wasn't even banned, right, on the first game. So with Kaja being banned here by Blacklist International, Valentina could either be chosen here. Onyx Philippines banned out the Joy themselves because they don't want to have that trade up against Blackest International, Naisu.
I think they're going to take, maybe they take the Fredrin this time, right? But I like that you pointed out that Glue was still open previous game. I feel like it would have been better if Edward had just picked the Glue, because then at least you provide some of that front line-ness that you need, right? You need some of that beefiness in the front line to help Wise not have to worry about everything. Like Wise last game had to worry about securing the objectives and staying alive and not getting locked down.
Yeah. There's a lot of things, or there's a lot of responsibilities with Wise onto game number 1. Or the respect ban carry from Blacklist International. So would it be the XP lane or will it be the Fredrin for Onyx Philippines?
Valentina, there's
Oh yeah, it's open.
that wasn't even considered previously. Well, now it is. Okay. Well, so do you still pick up the Farsa if you're Blacklist? Fredrin Farsa, perhaps?
Okay.
100% ban rate. Still picking ban rate. I mean, just tells us that Fredrin was present in all of the drafts.
You know, when Fredrin first
Appeared.
came out, like I never thought
of it.
that he would be
Yeah.
this of a hot commodity pick.
I agree.
I just never. I mean, when you first see Fredrin as a hero and like his kit and everything, you're like, all right, he's pretty good.
It's all right. It's
Very
all
cool.
right.
But then he
Yeah.
fits so well in like today's meta,
Yeah.
which is just win these dances.
Yeah, in team fights, man.
Yeah.
It mostly is a really versatile one that can work with everything.
Wow.
And Melissa for Blackest International in the second pick.
You notice the hierarchy of Melissa now in week 3,
Yeah.
right?
So it's already a priority pick. Kinda-
I believe it's one of the strongest ones. No, early game it was a good run for Super Red to use the Melissa. Now it's still Akai for Onyx. Will they go up against a marksman pick if you're Onyx Philippines right now?
Yeah. So what do you, I mean, you kind of want to think about your XP laner now if you're Onyx Philippines. Consider it. Lapu-Lapu is there, but you know, between Lapu-Lapu and Yuzhong, both those heroes don't really act well versus this Melissa. So what do you pick up now? What if they pick up the turret the last? But instead they are gonna consider the Brody.
Okay.
Decent matchup versus the Melissa.
Yeah.
I say this is the classic priorities of Onyx Philippines back in their days, in their games from week number 1. So this is one of their strongest comfort picks. Now Blackest International, would
Yep.
they go for the position 5 now?
I think they go Lolita this time.
Wolf.
You are correct, sir.
The overseer in our casting table. I'm happy to be here.
Happy to be here with you
Wow.
too, Wolf.
I'm inspired and encouraged by you guys.
I just
so-
want you to share, inspire, and encourage.
Yeah.
I just want you to share some of that IQ.
Yeah. He doesn't have the conceal, he has the encourage right on his shoes, right? Just imagine
Yeah.
it's being amplified like this. Energy. Now going to the second phase of banning. Who do you ban out on your blacklist? Since in the side of Onyx Philippines, they don't have their EXP lane yet.
Yeah. So you ban out the KK heroes, perhaps? Maybe Ruby from the
I was going
previous
to say,
game? Yeah.
please, like, I would, personally, it would be great if they do ban out the Ruby, because then it does force Kakadu to play something else here. And I always said, with Kakadu specifically, he kind of has 50-50 games on the Rubies, right,
Yeah.
so far. He's had
Yeah.
amazing games, and then
Yeah.
he's had games where it's like, Kakadu, what's
Okay.
going on here?
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like you could actually just leave that open because you know that's kind of the case for Kakadu. But
Yep.
even
Good
last
day and a
game,
bad day.
yeah, last game, you know, he had a heck of a start on that Ruby.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you ban? Like maybe Grok, Ruby. Yeah, there's really not much that you can. Maybe Cho, as KK dude kind of. If I recall correctly, that's also a pick, or maybe Franco even.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we haven't seen
could be
Franco
good.
because clearly, well, this Akai would be on the jungle, right? So if they want pickoffs and there's a Lolita on the other side, a Franco would be a good choice
Yeah.
for Onyx Philippines. So if you're blacklist, do you shorten out the choices of the EXP lane or the roamer? Well, yes. Wolf said it again.
Okay. Wow.
Double the encourage boots, man.
Okay. It's the band Feramis. So no, you still have the Farsa if you're Blacklist International.
Yep.
Gonna be good. Or
But you know that's going to be stolen from you, and then you're going to have
Yeah.
to fight against that too,
For
right?
sure,
So
for sure.
it's in a way it's kind of a gamble.
Oh,
glue.
yeah. There you go.
okay.
I love that answer. Glue for Blacklist International. So it's
Okay.
open for Edward. And up against these three picks of Onyx Philippines, I think it would actually work.
I think you go Grok if you're Onyx Philippines on the Expo lane so that you can match up against the Glue. And then you're going to be looking for a roamer. I think Atlas could be good for Onyx Philippines. It's going to be their last choice since Franco's not available anymore. So that could be the choices here for the set of Onyx Philippines, like Atlas as well as the Grok. So much beefiness and so much strength in the early stages. But instead, it's going to be...
I think it's still a Ruby for Onyx Philippines, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think this is still a Ruby.
It was a Ruby, and then the manly voice.
Manly voice.
Yuzhong.
Yuzhong. Oh, okay. You have backline defense, and you're still going to go
Farsa.
with the Ruby and up against a
Farsa,
Farsa.
okay.
Okay. Final pick for Black International. How's this for game number 2 for the Recoded team?
Okay, maybe what they should for the Recoded team, this is very standard, as we expected, right? This is what Blacklist International wants to do. They want to just pick up the standard box type kind of strategy that they have. Gonna be playing around this Melissa, and then of course just play together so that they can take the objectives. While for the side of Onyx Philippines, they do have the same, and it's kind of similar kind of strategy. The only problem here is how are they going to take down the Melissa? Surely they have the Brody, and at a certain point, like the Yuzhong will not have any problems from the go away of the Melissa. But once they don't land those ultimates up and combo up and control the Melissa, they might not have enough.
Well, how will Blacklist bounce back in game number 2 with the lineup up against Onyx Philippines? Let's see how will they make it work in this game.
Well, I think already, specifically for Blacklist International, again, with just this draft and allowing Wise to focus on what Wise has to do is already a good step in getting us to a game 3. Right now, Onyx Philippines, on the other hand, like you said, Wolf, if you can still get those lockdowns with Sensui, you have Kekadu once again. If he has a great game on this Ruby, you're going to be able to set yourself up for possibly sweeping Blacklist International here.
This could be a balanced attack if you're Blacklist and up against Onyx Philippines, because there were a lot of ways that they leveled the playing field now. Oh My Venus on the conceal, so maybe they could be more busy in getting those rotations quickly for the vision where Wise needs to have a good target for a lane gank, right?
Which kind of means that the first movements of the junglers will be so crucial. So far, Sensui is already able to reach level 4 after this crab. This 41 seconds off. And he actually stole one scaled lizard. So between the two, it's actually Onyx Philippines that will have more jungle creeps compared to Blacklist International.
Talking about advancement on the early game progress. Look at that, the pokes from Edward. This is what I'm saying, right? The glue on the hands of Edward really works well. Now it's mid lane pokes for these two players or members of Onyx and Blacklist International. I say they're just leveling up the time to get on the first turtle of the game.
Yeah, everybody pretty much rushing right here at this point. 10 seconds till that turtle comes up. You can even see Kekadu going to go ahead and reset here.
Ooh.
And they might look to trade a little bit, but I still see it coming down to this turtle dance pretty much for now.
So look at that. Well, the pressure up top, I'm feeling with the Melissa and the far side. There you have it. Talking about AoE and early game damage, right?
I mean, I was going to say looking for a trade, but instead, Blacklist International gets the turtle plus the kill. Hold on, they're looking for more here, but it's actually Edward that falls. A mistake by Blacklist International, but they're still going to be going. Oh My Venus, not going to connect on that noon on Blast. So right now, Onyx Philippines able to get a kill out of all that. First, it was just Blacklist International with an objective and a kill, but now Onyx Philippines on the board as well.
Honestly, Blacklist International going to be pretty happy with that. Edward did his job. Have lost one lane of minions, and that will be bad for sure. But when it comes to what his actual goal is, he's doing a great job. And taking down nets first for Blacklist International, that's the most crucial one. You feed off of your gold laner if you're Blacklist International, and having the lead over the Brody means that you will have a better shot at the late game. We know for sure that between Melissa and Brody, Melissa has the better late game.
Yeah,
There was nothing he could do.
Yeah, that's the AoE burst right there from Yue's feathered airstrike. And going back to Wolf's thought there on the gold lane, yes, that forces out Kekadu to aid nets because they need a good timer. If you're a Brody, you need to have a good scaling advantage if you're up against, well, Super Red.
Oh, Hold on, Wise.
Oh, pinning down.
Not sure he's going to be able to get out of that one. In enemy territory, gets punished for it. Falls in the jungle. So now, kill-wise, even across the board, Onyx Philippines still could be looking for more here. But it looks like Blacklist International also knows what's up. They're still going to be putting the pressure, but nothing for now.
And so much pressure on Blacklist International to put up the top lane. Kekadu will be staying up there as well. Going to be a 1v1 between Ryota as well as Edward onto the bottom lane. So it's really just them waiting for the next neutral objective. The game has equalized because of the kills that Onyx Philippines were able to get. But let's see. Might not be the case.
Wow, Nets able to survive with a sliver of health. Now the second turtle going to be up here. Sensui going to go and start this fight up. Super Prince also with the feathered airstrike here. You can see as well Ryota making his way. They're going to have to rely on that Black Dragon form as well, and it's going to be a full-on team fight for this one. As the dance ensues, both teams trying to get the vision they need here. Here's Ryota, the Black Dragon form. Going to push them back the best he can. Feathered airstrike coming out. Super Prince is secured by Sensui, and they give it a call back here. They're happy with the objective.
Ooh.
That's the instincts.
Beautiful control from Onyx Philippines. They snagged the aggro of the Lord, of the turtle, I mean. They took it away from Blacklist International, and the moment that they saw or felt that there will be Numinum Blast, they backed down all together in good unison. And at the same time, Sensui still managed to find the right angle so that the turtle will not be reset, and he gets it away from Wise. Great plays coming in from Onyx.
And this is a
Ooh,
focus
that
on
top
the top
lane.
side.
There's 4 members here.
4-on-4. There's the Appraiser's Wrath. Still going to be looking for more. The turtle finally goes down. Super Red unleashing here. All members are quite low. Able to find Super Prince. Finds another. Nets falls, making a third. Kekadu still alive. Never mind. Oh My Venus comes in. It's 3 down for Onyx Philippines.
What a massive swing for Blacklist International as they took the turret and then takes 3 members of Onyx Philippines. Yue was on point even with the follow-up stun. And now, you know what time it is for Blacklist International. It's not Onyx Page's time, it's the Ube time. We're going to see it once again. Look at how Yue connects with all of those stuns. Of course, Super Red just connecting with the muddles. Yue with the stun onto Nets. Beautifully done. That's to control the enemy Brody. And this means Blacklist International will be basking in Ube's timing.
Yeah, they're seeing light from that gameplay. It's Blacklist International's slowly taking good progress and damage. See, that's how you have the advantage of having a Lolita on your side, having glue. But now pickoffs is the answer on the Philippines.
They're going to try to get Oh My Venus down. 1 hit away. Going to charge up. Has the shield. They get the flicker out. Ryota able to get Oh My Venus. And now the focus here on Wise. He's going to fall as well. Onyx Philippines with a massive play getting 2.
Wow. And this is going to be coinciding to the turtle timing. Great move coming out from Onyx Philippines. And once again, the timing coming out from Ryota. I mean, he was a little bit slower this game compared to a Joy because he's playing the Yuzhong compared to a Joy, but his timings were on point. And that meant that he was able to cancel Oh My Venus' ultimate.
Well, Edward getting poked down here, but most likely just going to have to give up this turtle over the hands of Onyx Philippines. They're slowly gaining some control back into the game, but still gold lead in favor of Blacklist International.
They're seeing hope here on the lineup of Wise and Super Red because in team fighting perspective, there's a lot of things at stake if they go straight and how Blacklist defense is going to be. Because now we were talking about items. Is this enough already to give an exchange or even trades in the first 8 minutes, Wolf?
Yeah, for sure. Let's just compare the matchups, right? You can see that overall from Blacklist International, they do have the better gold. Big difference, though, when it comes to gold laners, almost 1,000. And that's something that Onyx Philippines will have to shake off. Wow, that was a very early Numinum Blast.
Aggressive.
Wow.
But
Thought about clearly.
okay.
Oh my
Too
Venus.
early.
I think they're still going to go ahead and just press the situation here. I mean, there's no Lord for a minute plus here. They also use the Conceal, plus that ultimate, the Numenon Blast from Oh My Venus. So right now, Onyx Philippines knows this information and might play around this if they can, but they don't have the space advantage, and that's what's crucial here as Blacklist International has those 3 turrets down, possibly another one soon.
Yeah, will they risk it though? Because Blacklist has continuous good pressure and lockdown right now. If Onyx Philippines decide to have a good chance, though, did Sensui? Oh, why still manage to secure that purple?
I think, okay. Oh, my Venus going to charge up once again. Still going to be able to get out of there just fine. Also, notice Nets not part of this whole fight just yet, so they're lacking some damage here. And right now, slowly but surely, Blacklist International just taking parts of the map here from Onyx.
Yeah, they have good mobility, and there's still no defense as well has been taken down on the side of the code right now. So this forces out Onyx Philippines to have enough damage items, because if Nets has so much delay, how is this going to go up against this matchup?
Okay, they get the heavy spin out of Sensui. That is perfect timing, as now this Lord is up. So Sensui without an ultimate here. Just got to be careful how he approaches it if he wants to actually contest this one. Kekadut providing the vision. Edward there as well. Blacklist International in clear green signal to take this one. First Lord. Onyx not going to risk it. Wise secures first Lord of the game.
I say time for Onyx Philippines. They want more time and damage here. They want to take it more further heading into late game, because they have no pushes yet, and the control of and coverage of Black International right now is just so high. There's a lot of things that they can answer.
There were so many things that went badly for Onyx Philippines too. You saw Sensui getting picked off, and of course they already committed the stolen Numinum Blast from Super Prince just 11 seconds before the Lord timing, just right before Sensui was taken out. So a lot of like misfortunes here.
Okay, heavy spin's going to come out. There's Kekadut with the I'm Offended pull. Not enough damage just yet. Super Red unleashing. Look at the damage. It's too much. Sensui's going to fall. Super Red as well. They find Ryota. A trade, though. Onyx losing 2. Kekadut running for the hills.
Trade of 2 to 1. Suddenly, that didn't turn out good for Onyx Philippines. It's the damage right now connecting up against Sensui and Ryota, Wolf.
Oh, man. See, Onyx Philippines just, they connected their shots. The timing was just off. You saw how Kekadut was able to find 2. Had it been that he was able to jump with Ryota, it could be a total disaster for Blacklist International, but it wasn't. In fact, Blacklist International themselves will claim 2 bounties. Even after losing Super Red, it wouldn't matter as much, because now it will take all of the outer turrets for Onyx Philippines.
Yeah, how to get the good setup, because Oh My Venus has a lot of space. She doesn't have a flicker yet. It's an open window for Onyx to take, because Super Friends has been eyeing the ultimate. He's been eyeing for the good setup. But the taunt is really working well for Wise. Look at the burst to Peel.
They get the feathered airstrike again. Heavy spin. Sensui able to survive, but now it's Blacklist International knocking on the doors of Onyx PH here. They hold on to the inhibitors for now, but still, they can't match the full-on team fight potential from Blacklist International.
How do they separate this? How do they isolate the most important important member of Blacklist International? Because in team fighting capability, they need to have good space for nets. They need to have a good setup from Kekadut. So how do you even penetrate the backline now with the momentum of Super Red right on top of the player's gold?
It'll be very difficult for Onyx Philippines. We did say that you have to find a way to pierce through the backlines and find the Melissa. So far, they have only found it once. They need to find more. And I think that there should be a shit for Super Fins. Maybe he's going to consider taking the Farsa ultimate and not the Lolita ultimate. As it stands, though, he does have an Numinum Blast.
Edward, he jumped into the bush there. 3. There's the feathered airstrike. Sensui with a heavy spin, trying to cut off Edward. Can't land it, though. And now in trouble. Ryota is going to go down. Super Red finding another. So 1 member down for Onyx PH. They were looking for any setup they could find. And unfortunately, it's just showing they're lacking the power here.
And good spacing, though, for Blacklist. There was no setup or follow-up, so they're not really risking this Lord, but they're really focusing on the wave clears here, right? Up top and also in mid.
Yeah, they're just going to give this one up again. Onyx Philippines knows that they're quite behind, right? They've got to defend and hold on for this, allowing, especially in this case, Nets to get the items that he needs. He's actually doing all right, though. It's just Super Prince hasn't had the potential with this Valentina that he's looking for. And now on the bottom side, they're going to be putting some pressure here. And they get out. They had to, it looked like they had to use that flicker as well.
Yeah. Is the defense right now enough for Onyx Philippines to hold if the burst from Yue and Super Red comes in at the right timing, Wolf?
We'll see. I think they do, but they have to find the right timing, as you've said.
Yeah.
Well, the right timing is now. They lose the inhibitor turret in the mid lane. Kekadut not able to connect with the I'm Offended. Still going to work on this Lord here. They're going to be whittled down slowly but surely by Blacklist International. They've got the wave on the top side to handle now, too. They finally get rid of the Lord. Blacklist International now waiting for these minions here. They're going to be knocking on the door top side. Let's see if Onyx Philippines can defend this. Feathered Airstrike comes down. There's the charge up. Nice cancel. Sensui, though, with the heavy spin. They're all caught in a bad situation. Ryota on the backside, still looking for Edward, but they don't have enough damage.
Ooh, you're still holding on.
Ooh, could have been really massive for Blacklist International. But then again, you saw how Sensui was able to cancel it. Unfortunately, his own ultimate heavy spin was also just cut short, and there wasn't any follow-up from Onyx Philippines. Now Onyx, the Hedgehogs, will have to deal with the minions once again.
How do you penetrate the backlines now if you're Onyx Philippines? Look at that. There's the charge.
Kakadu gets the pull. Can they grab the kill? The charge ups there. Oh my Venus finally falls here. And now Super France on the backside looking for Super Red. Gets the stun off. Ooh, they have the CC. Do they have the damage? They can't get past the ultimate. Super France falls now, still looking for Edward. Wise and Super Red there as well, but they have to deal with the minions in the base. And Onyx Philippines still struggling to hold on in this game.
Oh, great control coming out from Blacklist International. Super Red just coming up clutch, pushing away. Super Fritz with the ultimate. And although we are seeing like good pickups coming out from Onyx, they still lost their turrets. So even when Blacklist International loses 2, positions 4 and 5, they don't really care that much. They still have a lot of advantage over Onyx Philippines in this game.
And they have a lot of answers, you know, right? The control, the push. And now Onyx Philippines is worrying about how will they gain control of the lanes because it's still up. The defense is still up for Blacklist. And now they're being trapped. Look at the macro movements here of Blacklist. Edward and Wise for the charge.
Oh, looking for a play on Nets. Nets could be in trouble here. Can he survive the onslaught here? He can't. Wise able to get the kill. Ryota there trying to cause the distraction, but they lack the damage. Nets is nowhere on the map here. He's dead. And member after member of Onyx Philippines is going to be chased down by Blacklist International as they find the third. And that looks like it's going to be it as Blacklist International takes us to a game 3 here. They've got another wave of minions. Feathered Airstrike comes down. Base being worked on here. And there you have it. We're going to game 3.
You hear the agents cheer and scream. That's how the code band is back for game number 3. Completely answering the problems from game number 1.
Yep. Game number 1, they were being poked and zoned out by Ryota. In this game, they did it so well against Onyx Philippines themselves. They pick up the Farsa as well as the Glue, 2 of the heroes that we recommended for Blacklist International. Even the Lolita was there. Everything that Blacklist International picked up this game, very conventional, very Blacklist way. The way that also they team fought, is that a word? Team fought?
Team fought, yeah.
Yeah.
So the way that they team fought against
There you go.
Onyx Philippines,
Yeah, it's past tense. It could be, yeah.
very, very standard. Yeah, team fought, word of the day.
That's good English.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
I
Thank
love
you,
it,
sir.
right? You learn new words every day with Wolf. Just plug and play the way of the new code for Blacklist International, answering a lot. And talking about how Super Red bounces back into Melissa, right? He never gave up on those choice. He never gave up the Melissa.
And it's not, yeah, he had an amazing game, but I just feel like in general, what this was is Wise was able to secure the objectives because he didn't have to worry about being that sole front liner as well for Black
number 1. Yeah, compared to the previous performance, this is a better code that we're seeing. If they're going up against Onyx Philippines, they know who the right targets are. They know how to secure the areas of, well, Fredwin or even Wise, because that was they were mainly answering the problem. And yeah, in some days there's a good or bad situation for Onyx Philippines, but let's break it down with Wolf and on how Blacklist International bounced back for game number 3.
I guess put simply, they just went back to their winning ways. Blacklist International just drafted a very Blacklist kind of draft with all of the heroes that we prescribed for them. That's Lolita, Farsa, as well as the Glue, and them playing it like a very well-oiled machine. As Blacklist International just dismantled Onyx Philippines in that previous game. Let's look at the other stats here. Look at Yue as well as Oh My Venus just contributing a lot in this game, particularly Yue just applying so much pressure into the top lane so that Onyx Philippines will not be able to farm as easily as they did in the previous game. In fact, when it comes to GPM and hero damage, it was Super Red who was activated in this game. Because of the rotations that we saw from Blacklist International focusing onto the top lane, it they made sure that Super Red had a great time. There was an early, maybe 3-minute or 2-minute rotation up top where Super Red, together with Yue, was able to take out nets on the Brody. And from then on, they just controlled the map afterwards. Weiss was pretty on point in this game, as well as Oh My Venus. But everybody from the side of Blacklist International does just play their usual code, the way that they operate. And what is that way? Well, they start with just poking out Onyx Philippines, and they also started with just taking out one member of the Onyx Philippines after the other. For example, there was a fight in the mid lane. Imagine this. Onyx Philippines are leading by 3 turtles. They were controlling the turtle dance and neutral objectives, and the gold was even. And Blacklist International makes a move in the middle. They have found out that the stolen Numinum Blast was already used maybe 20 or less than 20 seconds before the first Lord fight. And they also found an opening onto Sensui. The lone death on this Akai was still pretty important because that was the time where the first Lord was about to respawn. Despite that being just a pick-off and that one first ultimate, it was already enough for Blacklist International to take over the game afterwards. Let's look at the MVP, however. It's Super Red with the Holy Trinity of the attack speed items. That's the Golden Staff, as well as the Corrosion Sight and the Demon Hunter Sword, making sure that Melissa is actually one of the top heroes to be considered in the gold lane. Let's not be surprised if this will be a priority come the next bout. Let's look at the highlights, of course, brought to us by Smart. Let's focus on to Super Red being activated in the top lane, as we've mentioned. Of course, Super Prince, great play with a snag on the Numinum Blast. Eventually, Onyx Philippines will find an opening, but this was the massive play from Blacklist International. Taking out turret and then taking 3 kills afterwards, with Weiss and the Yue just connecting with all their crowd control. Oh My Venus eventually taking him down with a charge. Then they snag Oh My Venus, or will they? So Oh My Venus will survive for a bit. Ryota will be able to pick up the slack. But unfortunately for Onyx Philippines, they're giving so many free things to Blacklist International. Kicking with the jump onto both Super Red and Yue. Best heroes to target, all things considered. That will be the perfect initiation for Onyx Philippines, taking out both the damage dealers of Blacklist International, but there wasn't any follow-up. And Onyx Philippines, without having any follow-up to take out 2 of those important heroes from Blacklist, they still lose the fight. Eventually, Onyx Philippines, they will suffer the isolation play coming up from Blacklist International, poking and pop from Blacklist International as they were taken out one after the other. Eventually, Blacklist International will take over the game. It was nothing really that Onyx Philippines can do as they are being isolated by the side of Blacklist. Like this one, right? It's one after the other. You see, they focus on Ryota and Kekadut first. Ryota being taken out, and then Sensui couldn't do anything. He survives afterwards, but they can't stop the push anymore from Blacklist International. It was really the only thing that's special here for Blacklist International is the fact that they keep on doing this and they know how to do it. But when it comes to how they operate, this is just the Blacklist way. If there's another day at the office for Blacklist International, this is that day.
So this is there. It's just a normal day.
Yeah.
You know.
For them, it's the same program.
Yep.
Yeah.
Program to win.
Just another code.
But
Program to win. It's a different team, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all right.
It's from Indonesia. So
Right. Program. It's all about program because they won game number
they're
2.
coded to win.
They're coded to win. Right. I stand corrected. Right. So, by looking back on how they answered the problems in game number 1, I see the focus now is going to the gold lane. Right. The marksman. We have Super Red, and also on the other side we have Nets. So I say it's more of the contention, right, on how they balance the playing field because they answered a lot, right?
They answered a lot, but I do want to say that I'm kind of it's weird because when you look at the team composition that Onyx Philippines had previous game, you would think they wouldn't have as hard of a time finding the targets that they needed against Blacklist International. But when it all unfolds in a team fight and you see how that kind of plays out, what Blacklist International was doing a lot of was they were getting certain ultimates, or let's say even the flickers down, the resources down from Onyx Philippines.
Yep.
They knew they had that advantage. And then you kind of have this setup where you have too much tankiness to deal with, to even get around. And it just allows pretty much your Super Red to pop off at any given moment because he doesn't have to worry. And not only that, if someone did get near him, then you have the Melissa with the way that she works, you know, the get away from me.
Yeah.
And that works so well.
Yeah.
Completely.
I
Get
think
away
I
from
like.
me.
I
Yeah.
think I like that ultimate better. I think it's called Go Away.
All right,
But,
get away from me. Yes,
Get
Get
away
away
from
from
me.
me's better
It's
though.
much
pretty much
better.
the same thing.
Yeah, I like
Go
from
away,
me.
get away.
Get away.
I like it. I like
Stay
it.
away.
Basically, the idea is get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Oh,
Right?
get out of here. What's number 3?
That could be the ultimate
Yeah.
name too. Get out of here.
See? Just imagine being used in a play-by-play situation. Melissa
Now I'm
saying,
actually
get
gonna
out
say
of
that.
here. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
It's a perfect answer, right? So this is the problem of Onyx Philips that they need to have a solution for. So
Yeah.
they were on the game 1, they had a lot of magic damage, but now how do you target down this if they have Lolita? Because they didn't ban on the first game. So will they go full on ban on Oh My Venus this time for game number 3?
Well, I think game 1 they did ban out the Lolita,
Yeah.
right? So this time we were even saying that would be a good choice to bring it
Yeah,
up.
they never picked it, yeah.
We saw how devastating it was, right?
Yeah.
Because even if you didn't land your Newman on blast, the threat of that being there and like causing Onyx Philippines to pretty much move away from it, right? Get away from it. At that point, it's something that you have to deal with. So what I see Onyx Philippines doing is possibly maybe they decide to switch sides, right? So they give up that priority pick to that first pick, whatever Blacklist International wants to take. And then I could possibly see them either taking away the Melissa this time or, going back to just pretty much blanket banning out Oh My Venus's picks.
Yeah, the marksman. How about that?
I think it's true. The Lolita was a problem for sure. I don't think that will be banned out though. They have to find a different solution for that. Maybe secure their Kadita earlier on because it also combos up to kind of answer the Melissa. From that draft in game number 2, the real lesson for me is you have to find a way to pierce through that Melissa. They had the chance, like Ruby plus the Yuzhong, but that was so telegraphed. That's so one-dimensional. You know it's coming, right? You know that the Yuzhong will eventually be there. And also, the way that they played it was Valentina that has access to the stolen feathered airstrike, but he chose to go for the Numenon Blast.
Yeah.
So they have
Most of the time.
more problems and difficulties playing against the Melissa. So that's one thing that they have to improve on, I think.
On drafting, so if they change sides, it could go in a better situation. So we might see the Kadita because it was prioritized ban for Blacklist International, even Natalia, right? Because as how Blacklist International rotates, it's more of like if Onyx sees this as a threat for all of the games that they had with the code, I say disrupt the early game, right? With Natalia being straightly banned by Blacklist in 2 games now, maybe that could be an option if they take the other side.
If they even go the route of not banning it, right? That's something that is kind of up in the air because so far from what we've seen, at least for the majority of both these teams, is very similar bans at this point, right? And they know what they like to play, right? Now, I think so. What that would force Onyx Philippines to do specifically is, and again, you can't completely rely on Nets to do what he did in game 1, right? You can't rely on him to push the lane and win by the split push, basically. You actually have to be able to have that idea on how do we first contest the objectives, right, against Wise and deal with that overlappingness, because what happened is, again, you just give up so many tanky options over to Blacklist International, and they're able to CC or counter CC or even bait out your own CC kits, right, that Onyx Philippines should have been able to have. And I think you made a good point, too. If they decide to go with the Valentina again for some reason, what we're seeing with teams that play against the Valentina is, especially if they have a Farsa picked, they do such a great job at I know the saying in Filipino, it's like you toggle the
hide.
ultimate. You hide the
Yeah.
You hide
You
the
wait
ultimate.
for the right time for the
Yeah, and that's what they were doing, man. You know, they parked the Farsa in the bushes, so your Valentina can't actually grab that feathered airstrike, and then you're kind of forced just taking what we saw previous game was the Lolita ultimate.
Yeah, I agree with you. So like we always say, like we know how the team fights can go as casters, but it's a totally different battlefield when it's actually the execution. Looks easy to us because we're only talking.
Yeah.
But of course,
We're
for all the
watching.
players out there,
Yeah.
they're gonna be the ones to play it.
Well-
Still, we are gonna be focusing on draft soon.
Well, our eyes now are on Coach Bluff. See, I believe Wolf also had a chance to work with this amazing coach, right?
Yeah,
And
twice,
Going
in fact.
through the mines right now. So, is it right? They're prioritizing the ban onto the Franco.
Yeah,
Blacklist International.
Knowing that Keki
They did switch.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the switch that you're talking about early on.
I think it's best. honestly, for Onyx Philippines, you go ahead and give something up here, and then you secure yourself those 2 picks, and you can kind of build around that, right? So I assume we're going to see very similar bans, at least from Onyx Philippines. Blanket bans towards Oh My Venus, maybe one up in the air here, but there you go, right? Even the Natalia is going to be taken out here again from Blacklist International.
Yeah, we were expecting more that it might show up, but this
Joy.
turns out, yeah,
Joy.
Is
Fredrin
yeah.
open as well.
I think it's much better if you pick up the Joy here. No counter, like we said. And for sure, Edward can play it. We know that.
XP lane Joy again, yeah.
Yep.
Work wonders in game number 1. So if Blacklist would steal that, it would make total sense to force out something from Onyx Philippines. So yeah, you have it, right? It's Joy for Edward.
We Joy. So, do you snag the Fredrin here if you're Onyx? I think that's a valid way to go. And if we're following the narrative here, maybe Melissa. So,
Yeah.
not be surprised if it's Melissa and Fredrin as the first
Melissa
2 picks.
Fredrin, yeah.
Yeah.
It's either like, do you take the Melissa Fredrin? Do you take the Farsa Fredrin? Maybe you're comfortable not playing against or not getting the Fredrin, so you take a Melissa and Farsa.
Yeah, Melissa Farsa.
Melissa Farsa.
Yeah,
so
I
you
do
cover
like
your
Would be a
damage
good option,
bases.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll put my bet on that too.
Yeah, in most of the games that Onyx really prioritize their first picks, it's either the mid lane or even the jungler or even the Marks, depending on the situation. So that could be an answer, but yeah, Valentina and Melissa.
Yeah, it's the same. Just give the access to the Farsa to the opposing team. Just steal it away
Yeah.
with the ultimate. So you now go back to Fredrin if you're back at International. You still have the Lolita. You're not hard pressed on taking a Nuke Mage here because there's still plenty of choices. There's like Lilia still, even if it will be banned out. So I think that it gives merit for Blacklist International to pick up both of the Lolita as well as the Fredrin for the second and third pick of the team.
Also Glue, open for Blacklist, right? Well,
They do have the Joy.
yeah, but yeah, sometimes I don't see Blacklist flexing this hero, right? So maybe it's Prada's on the XP lane instead. So Brody or Marksman and the Farmers, okay. Still the same picks for Blacklist.
Okay.
Brody Fairmiss.
Okay, Faramis is all kind of as a way to get to the Melissa because of the Shroud. And you also have your snag, but you give a big ultimate to the Valentina. I do like the Brody because it's we saw in the previous game that there's decent matchup. There will be a +1 for Melissa. Of course, he will win, and if there's a +1 for the Brody can win against opponents. So I think overall this is a great answer from Blacklist International. And what could be the other pick here?
So they might do what happened in game number 1. They just exchanged heroes. We have Nets and Super exchanging one, but they took the Lolita for themselves for Onyx Philippines. I say it's a good answer as well.
I think that was
I
a
like
smart decision.
Yeah, I like it. Especially, most likely going in the hands of Kekadude, of course. And we've seen him play so much Ruby from game to game, series to series. And now he gets his hands on the Lolita, which I think the pressure, the presence of having the Nuno on blast is already a big factor for Lolita's success. And of course you can help block, the front especially.
Alice.
Okay.
Alice. They don't want the Alice jungle.
We saw
What was
that.
that?
We saw that last week against Mega. That's
Yeah.
right. So you don't want to suffer the same consequences. So great that's a play coming out. Maybe now you consider, do you ban out Fredrin if you're Blacklist International? Then just not give it away to Onyx Philippines. And XP lane options that can match up against the Joy. I think Glue does not counter the Joy, but it is at least a pick that can be.
Yeah. So they're stopping the penetration from the backlines. They've taken out the Yuzong. Okay. A lot of buffs and inspirations right on the crowd here. But going back on Onyx Philippines choices, what's up here for the table for the Yellow Hedge? What could they take since there's no jungler yet for Wise? Will they keep going that route?
I think you ban Barrett's or Martis, then take the Fredrin.
Oh yeah, and
So that there will be no
the
counter
utility
at all.
right for Wise.
Yep.
Oh Eve, they're letting the Fredrin loose. Okay, I say they have answer. Oh, okay.
There's some familiar faces.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
He's telling us what time it is.
It's 5 something. Yeah. So
Is
thank
it?
you so
Yeah, it
much,
is.
our idol right in the audience. So going past the draft here, Blacklist International. So will they shorten out the choices of Sensui now for the last option?
Yeah, I think Glue still is a good ban just because of the fact that, you know, it's not, again, it doesn't counter the Joy, but it's a hero that can play against it. Maybe Benedetta. But yeah, you just ban out the Glue.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
It's something to aid to catch the joy, right?
Yeah.
The glue.
I think you go Benedetta if you're, or Brody, or sorry, or Lapu Lapu so that they can go to the Brody.
I was
I
gonna say,
think Lapu is great.
yeah, Lapu. I would rather see the Lapu because when it was
There you go.
flip flopped, right? Edward was playing against
Wow.
the Joy, and that was just no fun.
Yep.
That's how it looked, right, from here. I mean, it didn't
That's
look
right.
like it was any fun. So at least this time with the Lapu Lapu locked in here, you should have, I would say, somewhat of a better time against the Joy, and then still you also help provide once again a little bit of a tanky layer to protect that Melissa.
Yeah.
And not to mention the CC and burst if you're a Lapu Lapu. Talking about like early game not dependent on items, right? And if you're a Lapu Lapu up against, Edward, it's a good answer. But Fredrin, you're not letting it loose. Why takes it for himself?
Fredrin Farsa. Oh, there it is. Fredrin Farsa. So,
That's so weird seeing Fredrin pick
you're-
that late.
yeah.
Yeah, in the second phase.
Yeah.
For Onyx, you would look for the Fredrin counters. I'm only looking at either Barrett's or the Martis. But we know for sure that Onyx Philippines like to play the Akai, as
Akai,
we've seen.
yeah.
So that would be a third option. If I were to choose, I think it would be beneficial to get the Barrett's.
Oh.
Yeah, the Martis. As
The
we
Martis.
mentioned. Yep.
Called it. Wolf called it again.
Yep.
Okay.
It's just how it is.
I think this is how will they answer lineup of Blacklist International right now. So you have the burst, you have the AoE. So what could go wrong, right? Since they have all coverage on team fighting capability now.
Honestly, what could go wrong here? Onyx Philippines, Super Friends having a hard time at which ultimate to take. You take the Feathered Airstrike, you take the Colt Altar. You know, we've even seen situations where Valentinas do take even that Joy ultimate, right?
Yeah.
And then they try to play around with that because you know they're going to be able to actually provide quite a bit of damage the way that, that whole interaction works here. So if anything's going to go wrong, OSX, I think it's Super Friends having a lot of responsibility on what ultimate do I take for the advantage.
It's sometimes the dilemma, right? When the way that you play around against the Valentina, it's either you give him no good ultimates to pick up, or a lot of
many.
good ultimates. That's right. Ready to win the team fights.
Well, I say they might get the ultimate of the Farsa, beneficial for how the AoE team fights will happen. They need that burst, right? Because that was one thing that was lacking on how Onyx Philippines game number 2 went, right? So maybe that could answer a lot of options. They have the Lolita on this. They have good knockups and CCs, and not to mention they also have the Lapu Lapu as well.
Yeah, this time they have Onyx Philippines specifically has a lot of layered CC they can use, to win those, hopefully those objectives for them, those team fights, and convert around that. But like I said, one of the biggest things that they have to watch out for is actually Blacklist International playing that game where they bait out your ultimates, they bait out your resources, and they try to get that advantage before they even get to the fight. So Onyx Philippines has to be cautious of that and wary of that to not basically play in the hand of their plans from Blacklist International.
It still is a very blacklist draft, most particularly because of the Faramis ultimate that we have available for Oh My Venus. If I'm not mistaken, it will be it will indeed be like a Faramis on the support role. So it is indeed going to be Oh My Venus with Pull Yourself Together on the Faramis. This is a very good teamfight tool, and in hindsight, it can answer the Melissa because Melissa wants to take out people with his models and his combo with the Inspire, right? But once you don't have that ultimate anymore, you don't really deal as much damage. Well, even if you don't have the second skill, I mean. So what I'm trying to say here is if there's a second life for his opponents, Melissa might struggle. So if Oh My Venus plays this correctly, this could be good for Blacklist International.
I love that you pointed that out because it's either they wait for the resources to be used and then you strike.
Yeah.
If you're Blacklist International, let's see how this game goes. Will it be Blacklist? Will it be Onyx Philippines? I'm excited. It's game number 3.
Yeah, I'm just glad, we've made it to a game 3 here to kick off week 3, especially with these two teams who are, quite honestly, they're battling it out, into pretty much the middle of the standings, really trying to set themselves up, the momentum for points and everything else. So you can already see tensions are going to be high here. Mid lane, a lot of poke back and forth. There's no one, though, going to be able to get that first blood. Kekadu, though, quite low. Still trying to get anything out here. Super Prince poked down quite a bit, holding on to the flickers.
This is the early game combo, right? Farsa and a Faramis. Early game. How to hold the lane, how to clear minions, they answer it correctly. And that forces out Onyx Philippines to not really engage in this pokes that Blacklist International is setting up.
Gonna be a lot of pokes, especially with the composition that we have from both teams. You see this Faramis plus Farsa, great at poking, great at out-sustaining their opponents. Also very true with the Valentina. So that's one thing you can expect. I wonder how they are going to utilize the Super Prince in this game, though. It's always that's the dilemma that we talked about earlier on. But additionally, will you also pump up some farm on Super Prince so that he will have enough damage come the mid game?
Yeah, since the mid lane right now is the focus of Blacklist to easily pressure on, right? We have Yue and Edward, so that makes sense. If you delay the EXP of a Valentina, well, you can slow down the magic burst potential early game.
Yeah, and
Edward.
That's what you want to do here. Edward, though, half health, going to be poked down quite a bit. Doesn't have that level 4 yet, so he's got to be careful here. Sensubi on the hunt, looking for Edward still. Can he bob? Can he weave? Vengeance comes out. The flicker comes in. Super Prince with a big pickoff early on. That's going to be crucial, as you just talked about, Wolf. Early kill, Super Prince, Mystery Shop, going to be crucial. Another flicker comes in. Wise is stunned. Kekadut with the kill. Onyx still on the hunt here. So my Venus trying to just give some vision on this turtle. Might be better if they give it up. Edward now back here. Still, Onyx going to be pulling it. There's the feathered airstrike. Going to be secured by Sensui with retribution.
Sensui says, thank you for that bonus damage you get. Great decision from Onyx Philippines to actually turn onto heroes instead of focusing onto the turtle take. So there's always that, I call it the 3 T's when you're doing the turtle dance. Or
what is that?
What's that?
It's take, turn,
take turn,
or trade.
Oh.
So take is like when you take the turtle, right? Focus on putting the neutral objective down, like focusing your damage on that. Turn is if you turn onto heroes instead. And trade is just give the turtle, skip it, just take another objective part of the map. So Onyx Philippines decided to turn in that case, and that was the best decision because now they take 2 heroes before they took the turtle.
I love the T's right now.
3 T's.
The 3 T's
Of the neutral objectives.
The objectives.
Yeah.
The elements on how to get the perfect objective things. Thank you so much, Wolf. That's Wolf 2022.
That's free, by the way. That's free.
That's free.
That's free strategies.
A master class.
Wolf usually charges for that
Kaisam,
information.
yeah, right? A beautiful way to win your games.
I'm pretty sure if you go into your games, guys, 3 T's.
Yeah.
3 T's.
Not going to know. But right now, bottom side, looking for a play. Onyx Philippines, though, actually going to get poked down quite a bit. Edward making his way too. Nice Numenal Blast. Kekadu going to be in trouble here. Edward on the hunt. There's the ultimates. Can they escape this? It looks like they do. Onyx Philippines able to get out of a bad situation.
Well, good shield, though, on how Nets used to land that ultimate to defend the fallback of Onyx Philippines. The pokes continue.
Pokes are continuing. Super Prince going to be just fine, though. Now Yue with that feathered airstrike in return. And still, no one going down here on both teams.
Yeah, still Farsa is the best option for the ultimate that Super Prince can use early game. That's how you make AoE and how you secure, well, border if you're Onyx. You have Onyx Philippines lineup. You want to have that space for Kekadu to have a good angle to land those ultimates, knowing that there's joy on their side. There's a lot of things to really catch to level up the team fighting here.
Well, right now, they're going to be battling for the second turtle of the game. 1/4 health here. Going to come down to the retribution battle. It's Sensui that secures it. Now Kekadu, though, has to flicker out. Onyx Philippines playing the discipline game, gets the objective, and gets out here.
So it was a gamble from Onyx Philippines and Blacklist, as both Wise and Jitsu were both level 7 and decent control out there. But yeah, I think that's the key, right? For Onyx Philippines, discipline. Whether or not they take the turtle, they did not give away any free kills to Blacklist International, even committing the flicker onto Kekedu. It didn't matter if they get the kill or not. As long as they get out there alive, it's going to be great. They're going to be maintaining their lead, and that's 1,500 gold on their side, and also a lot of experience for both Sensui and Nets across the map.
That's how Onyx Philippines catches up on the 3Ts, right? That's a
Yep.
trade that you don't want to give against Blacklist International, but all they want to do here is really take this pressure, to give pressure rather, onto the mid lane.
Sensui trying to back off here a little bit. Wise has the taunts that he needs. They punish him. Sensui gonna follow along with Kekedu. It's a double for Edward.
Yeah, look at the positioning of Blacklist and how they are able to trap Sensui, knowing well how to master or, control the Martis. Timing not after all of the Shuras as well as the Mortar Coil so that they can get out and control him afterwards. Great movements coming up from Blacklist. And now they have diminished the lead out to 400 in just one fell swoop.
Also, good setup on how they would want to counter the engage of how Onyx could contest this second turtle. But looking at the items here, Joy has the Divine Blade. You have the Scorch Power now. And also Tower Down up top.
They're grabbing the objectives that they need, right? Playing around it. And they can pretty much take that advantage that they have now. It might be even across the board in terms of gold, but slowly Blacklist International still trying to find space advantage, right? That's something they want to play around with. But Onyx Philippines, if they can secure this next turtle, at least they've got the 3 clean sweep for turtles, and that is up to Sensui here. So as they fight for the positioning, Oh My Venus pulling the turtle out for now. And now the battle ensues. Edward there as well. Everybody pretty much here. And right now, Super Red might want to make his way to this fight. There's the feathered airstrike coming out from Yue. Turtle still being worked on slowly, but Shuri Ryota gonna jump in. There's Kekedu too, taking quite a bit of damage. Sensui can't get close enough. Super Prince with a feathered airstrike there as well. Turtle gonna reset here. No one able to grab it just yet. And Edward quite low as well.
Yeah, 2 flickers used, ultimates burned down. No turtle to contest.
How very, very sweaty turtle number 3 from both teams.
Oh, this one though, it just looks like it's going to go to the hands of Blacklist International. Wise able to secure it. Now Edward pushing the backside here. Nets could be in trouble. Look at the damage. Can he survive it?
It's alive.
Barely does, but Nets able to survive.
And okay, so well played coming up from Blacklist. They snagged the lead once again. 800 gold or almost 1,000 for them, as they have managed to put Onyx Philippines very low. Nobody was killed in that sequence, but Blacklist International gets the economic advantage of that, and it was because of Ryota just mastering the joy.
Boom.
Wow.
I mean, that's why it's really good.
Still a cautious mindset for Onyx Philippines. They want to maintain this discipline if they want to go up against Blacklist into the later stages of the game. Because if the items is concerned, I believe they're more focused on amping up the damage of Nets and as well as Ryota, right? So how is this now?
Well, we do know that Onyx Philippines are quite a little bit of a trouble right now, because the later the game goes, you can see that Blacklist International with both Faramis and Farsa can be good. Onyx Philippines, they need really a lot of items onto Nets. Eventually, Sensui will be more of a tank, not a damage dealer anymore. If he gets maybe the ultimate connection with the resets, maybe sure they will have the damage, but will not have it in the latter portions of the game. So it's going to be really dependent on Nets and how he's going to be able to position himself well and make sure that he is the damage dealer for Onyx Philippines.
So the question is, can they hold it though?
Okay, they get the flicker out from Super Prince. There's the feathered airstrike in return. Kekedu has to flicker out as well. Still going to be able to survive. Quite low himself, but still a lot of resources out once again. 15 seconds away from this first Lord of the game.
Well, slowly, they're eyeing onto this next major objective. With no push coming from Onyx Philippines, I say Blacklist would want to secure this one because they're letting so much problems right now for the Yellow Hedgehogs, right? So what could be the next move here if you want to go up against them?
We'll apply pressure in lanes. First, you can see Lord Dance, but already a 4-1 movement coming up from Blacklist International. 4 in the Lord side and then 1 up top. That's Edward. Making sure that Lapu-Lapu will have to answer for 2 lanes. So that will take a lot of time. and they will inch their way onto the Lord once again. Look at the lane pressure from Blacklist International. They are making sure that all of the lanes are shot. A perfect 4-1 strat from Blacklist International.
Yeah, keeping their eyes on the possible split up top. So Onyx right now is looking forward to secure this one because space is onto the hands of the ultimate of Kekedu that can make, but there's no flicker though.
Well, right now, still, Lord going to be half healthier. Wise quite healthy still. Oh my Venus looking for that stampede. They pull him back. Sensui could be in trouble. Gets the Colt Altar out. Now it's going to be Wise on the focus. Net's trying to unleash. Doesn't quite have the damage just yet. There's the Appraiser's Wrath. Yue finds Sensui. And that's one down here. Blacklist International with a masterful fight. They get the advantage. Can Onyx actually contest this Lord? Do they just give it up?
No Sensui.
Sensui is dead, so there's really no chance. And even that, even after knowing that the Lord Dance is already safe, Edward makes a move so that Nets and the rest of the gang will not be able to follow up anyways.
Yeah, they need more time to get back on the trade and objective now, as the 3 Ts is needed for the side of Onyx Philippines. What do you get for the objective? Will you do a cross-map trade? Well, now they're seeing more of the chances of getting focused on the objectives. If you're Sensui, if you're the other members of Onyx Philippines, laning is concerned, there's a lot of ways that they could actually bounce back, right?
Maybe if they do find a big open, they need a team fight. Onyx Philippines, they cannot play the 4-1 game, and that's really what Blacklist International is exploiting now. You can see Joy with all of the mobility, he has a big map traverse, good movement speed, of course. With all the dashes, you can just get from one lane to another. Applying the pressure up top, and it's a slow push top lane once again. Just Blacklist International controlling the minions. It's such a beautiful cross-map play and sight to see.
Yeah, problems also brewing up against Onyx Philippines. They haven't spotted Edward yet, though.
Yeah, they're going to lose another turret topside, too. They've got to pretty much give up these Tier 2 turrets, right, over the hands of Blacklist International and just hope to defend in their base at this point, right? If they get caught out, they're going to be in a bad position here. Net's still trying to hold it down in the Tier 2, but it's ultimately going to go down here. Lord, though, should be taken down shortly. Net's still holding down the mid lane. Super Prince does go in, but it looks like Onyx Philippines just looking to hold on here to get in position for the next fight.
Yeah, they just keep on waiting. I think this is also a bad thing if you don't get those trades, because in the player's gold, Nets is not too far, right? Well, he needs more time mostly to give the other members of Onyx to give space for Nets, because Super Red, if you're a Brody, this might be the way to get those damage in, right?
Yeah. Interesting, Blacklist onto All My Venus shows the fleeting time.
Wow. Edward, though, just doing Joy things. Look at all the damage he's able to provide against 3-4 members of Onyx Philippines. That's so hard to deal with here.
Yeah. That's the problem you give the Joy. That's the reason why it's almost automatically banned.
Yeah.
Gives so much of an opening against Onyx Philippines. You see how he's able to just pressure the backlines for Onyx Philippines, and that allowed Blacklist to be more comfortable, especially during this macro objective plays.
Yeah, with Joy on Edward's hands, you need to answer catch, you need to answer magic defense. I believe he got already 2 most important core items if you were a Joy, so he could actually deplete the resources in the side of Onyx Philippines, and if they wait for that time where everybody's ultimates is out for Blacklist, it might be too late for Onyx to bounce back. So maybe this Lord could dictate their way of like having a chance of, well, taking 2 turrets from mid to bottom.
This might be their chance, but also notice Edward's still top side, right? Going to be putting pressure there. Conceal play does come out, but Onyx Philippines still looking for any moment they can here. Super Prince unleashing. Can they grab the kill? Wise falls here. Nets able to finally get a point on the board. UA flickers out of the Newman on blast. Edward still backside. Got to be careful. Kekedu falls, though. Now Nets on the run, trying to help the team. The flicker comes in. Oh my Venus on the hunt, gets the drag. Nets gets taken out. Look at the damage coming out from Super Red and Edward. Onyx Philippines on the run. Ooh. Feathered airstrike comes down, but it's not enough to get the last 2 kills.
Massive positioning plays coming out from Blacklist International, even after losing Wise. you'll understand why Onyx Philippines tried to go for that play, just all in against the world. And unfortunately, they were punished afterwards. They keep Sensui, a retribution holder, but they weren't able to keep their damage up. It's all because of Edward zoning out the members of Onyx Philippines and then Yue following up. Of course, oh my Venus, you saw that drag Shadow Stampede to be on point and be a reliable stun against Nets. Well, it isn't really a stun, but a reliable dispositioning against Nets. And that allowed Blacklist International to take the Lord once again. And this is really a big advantage for them.
Oh, Blacklist. Now with all of the items locked in for Joy and for Edward, I say this is a very hard way of bouncing back with the lead of 6.3k. How do you target one against Blacks? Would you target Super Red? Would you target UA? With this, or with the pressure of Ome Venus using the Ferris, I say they always have this second chance of turning things around, right? So if Onyx Philippines would rather hold their way of defending inside the base, because Blacklist keeps on baiting them to go out because they're hungry. They're hungry for objectives. They're hungry for kills. And if they keep on answering to that, that will be a big problem just like now.
Well, right now, they're going to be trying to defend this top side. They're going to lose the turret here. Wise able to grab it. Kekadu takes quite a bit of damage. Falls ultimately to Super Red. They're trying their best. Nets has the damage, but just not enough. Wise finally falls. UA also quite low. Flicker to defend, but look at the triple from Super Red. Can he grab some more? Sensui falls. Still looking to end the game here. 4 down for Onyx Philippines. Super Red was finally taken care of. 3 members for Blacklist International still up, and it's Super Prince. Can he defend by himself? It looks like he can.
He's holding on. 2 supers, but 1 stayed up top. Blacklist International with the push, leaving so much problems for Onyx Philippines right now.
I'm actually surprised that Onyx Philippines hang on.
Yeah.
It was because Super Prince, his positioning and his on-point usage of the first and the second skill, dashing through. And Blacklist International popped the ultimate onto Yue, the last ultimate, just way too early, so that they will not be able to zone out Super Prince. But it is what it is. Blacklist International still winning the team fights. And the only reason why Onyx Philippines held on was because of the heroics from Super Prince himself, but it was almost a perfect Lord push coming out from Blacklist International.
Now they're answering it on the late game. Can they hold it, right? This is the problem. This is the thing that I was speculating early on. Can Onyx Philippines hold the damage right now of Blacklist? Because will they deplete resources? Will they take one? Will they isolate one? Because also, they really have a good chance of clearing their lane. It's just a matter of maybe isolating, right? Will that be a good answer?
Yes, but it's so difficult. It's easy for us to say that they have to isolate people, right? And this is a they are trying to do it against a Faramis lineup. This composition from Blacklist International, they will not leave each other. They're going to be rubbing shoulders all throughout this game, just because of the nature of their composition. But if they do find it, yes, Onyx Philippines, that's a great idea.
Ooh. Well,
Until
right now,
then, only Edward is exposed.
Yeah, if they can find a kill early on, maybe they catch Edward. I don't know how you'd be able to do that, because you have to throw a lot at a Joy to actually catch her here. So it might be something that Onyx Philippines plays around. But right now, if they can somehow also win this Retribution battle, they have a clear signal to march in the base. But you also have to look at Edward, right? He's looking to make a Nets play here, right? He's looking to put pressure on that back lane.
Found Edward.
Look at Onyx Philippines.
Did they spot one?
No,
Is
Edward's
this the
there. The
isolation?
charge up. Oh, he's going to miss. Can Edward survive this? Yes, he does. Bobs and weaves out of there. 1 versus 3. So now it's Onyx Philippines on the defense. Lord is being worked on by Wise. It's still pretty healthy here. Onyx Philippines can actually contest this one.
They forced out 2 ultimates.
My God. I mean, Edward just utilized the crowd control immunity of the Joy to its full potential. After learning that he is being slowed down because of the Numino Blast, he decided to just dash forward. Eventually gets hit, but because of the crowd control immunity, gets away.
Okay, conceal play comes out. Edward still top side. Looking for the base here. Can he get it in time? He's just a big distraction. Doesn't have the damage just yet, nor the minions. So Ryota able to hold his own.
Saying no.
Still the fight. Both sides cross map here. They know the conceal is also down. They got to be careful. Oh my Venus, going to get trapped a little bit, but has the immortality as well. Still able to push and pull between both teams. Super Prince goes in, looks for something, has to flicker out. It's Edward now with the beats off and looking for more. Can he find it? Kakadut goes with immortality. The Wise in trouble. Prazer's Wrath comes down, but Kakadut's gonna fall.
Oh no.
Very close fight in there. It's a lot of immortalities popped, but unfortunately, Onyx Philippines will lose Kakadut. That's a massive ultimate to not have in this game.
No ultimate, no flicker, no setups for Onyx Philippines. How to counter this? Edward's dropping low though.
That is just insane. You know, Edward able to do that on this Joy. Jump into a bush of 3 people. Get out fine. Still going to be going. Ryota flickers in. Yue's in trouble. Unleashes. Ryota able to grab the kill. Yue down now. And still the fight for the Lord ensues.
Wow, Super Prince now for the first time stole the Fab's ultimate. And it was all just to help out Ryota get out. Great jump from Ryota with the flicker and the ultimate, the bravest fighter, as he's able to take out Yue. Very important component in the team fight of Blacklist International. And so far, this meant that Onyx Philippines might consider just bursting out the Lord. It's now time to take the Lord if you're Onyx Philippines.
Man, I'm seeing a lot of problems. There are 2 members down bottom against Onyx Philippines' lane. And right now, Ryota's the only one holding the base. Is 4 members enough against Blacklist International right now? They're really playing the long macro game here, leaving one to defend the base of Onyx Philippines. All up to Sensui.
It's take time.
It's take time. It's the dance time. Who's it going to come down to? They're going to try to zone him out the best they can. Lord is taken by Wise. As a retribution battle is finished, but Edward falls. And oh my Venus as well. 2 down for Blacklist International. And now Onyx Philippines making their way down a mid. They know they've got the numbers advantage. They're going to have to deal with the Lord as well. How many turrets, how much space can they grab from this play?
Great discipline. Maybe another one up top, but that will be it. They have to answer for the minions now. Fortunately for Onyx Philippines, even after Blacklist International took that away, it's a late respawn from the Lord. It's the reason why they can have a shot at defending this. Onyx Philippines not too shabby at all with the team fights.
And they can hold the line. But on the other end of this lane, oh, okay, Super Red not attempting to do what happened in game number 1, but still hoping Onyx Philippines would have a chance to clear this. They would need to be at the base. There's a lot of ways that they can distract their strategy right now.
Well, what we saw was pretty much the fact that Onyx Philippines can still win these fights, right? They are in a position now where pretty much everybody has all the items they need, and it comes down to just those micro decisions in these team fights. So it's better that they defend in their base where they're in an advantage position. They're going to go ahead and get rid of this Lord here. And then they've got to defend against the pushing minions. And then from there, look for another winning fight the best they can. They're going to lose that last turret, though, in mid lane.
Okay, ultimate has been used by Yue. Now an advantage. Blacklist International is letting everybody out of the base. I say they have complete defense right now. If we're talking about Kakadut, I think this damage reduction item could actually work with the burst right now on how Super Red manages to use that ultimate onto everybody.
Well, in a very surprising way, Queen's Wings picked up by Kakadut. That's a big surprise. Yeah, because he doesn't heal a lot, right? But I guess he will just want to stay beefy when he's low. Because you do have the passive, yeah.
The damage reduction with the immortality and also answers, well, everything for Blacklist's possible wrath of taking 2. So maybe they could buy time and hold the line while Edward is just poking everybody and pushing everybody to a pressure, but they're spotting 1!
Edward in trouble here. Gets taken out.
Went too deep.
That's massive.
60 seconds.
Yeah, TikTok timers right now at 24 minutes. It's over a minute. That Edward will not be a problem for Onyx Philippines, and he has been a problem. We've talked about how Nets is not able to get into position just because of the fact that Melissa is gonna be pressured by the Joy, and that pickup was massive on the side of Onyx.
You have 30 seconds to make that kill worth if you're Onyx Philippines.
If you're Onyx, you just burst it down, right? You utilize Nets and Sensui to just trickle down the Lord. Take it.
The work here is going to be in the hands of Blacklist International. If they can avoid this Lord being taken here, still 20 seconds for Edward to be up. They had to park Ryota bottom side, so it's not pushed out, but still, they're making it hard here for Sensui to finish up this Lord. It's still going to come down to the retribution battle. Anything could happen here. There's the charger up from Kekadu. Going to get zoned out the best he can. Super Fritz quite low, but Sensui able to secure the Lord. Wow. And now they're going to be trying to retreat here, but they decide to fight. Nets unleashing, but look at the damage. Immortality going to be popped here. Edward just around the corner, back for the fight. Look at the Stampede! Finds 4 members in a massive play from Oh My Venus. And they're still going. Super Red able to find Sensui. Ryota with a nice stun, but ultimately going to get taken down here. And Super Red makes a beeline for the base top side. What a play from Blacklist International as they end the series 2-1.
Blacklist International with a reverse sweep, giving the perfect time for Edward to strike back. Amazing clutch. They're almost there. Onyx Phillips almost there, but Blacklist had all corners answered from the last Lord take.
The stolen Faram's ultimate went badly, well, not in the favor of Onyx Philippines, because what happens is when the shields run out because you get hit, you're essentially, when the damage output is there to take out the shields, what generally happens is that you get stunned in place for a second.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
I saw it in the bushes, right?
It was perfect setup for Blacklist International in the end. Shadow Stampede connects,
Man.
Taunt connects. You see all of those AoE damage because of the fact that they were stunned up. And it wasn't just because of the misuse of the Cult Altar, but it's also because Yue was able to connect with the damage, right? Because you utilize your Feathered Airstrike so well in that game that after the Cult Altar was used, you just trickled them down with the damage output coming up from Yue. Everybody just stepped up from Blacklist International.
Not only that, but that last Stampede, you know, from Oh My Venus, able
That's
to
true.
pull, what, 4? I'm not sure if that was 5, but it was like 4 at
In
least.
visual, it's like 4, yeah.
Yeah, and that alone then paired with that AoE damage you're talking about just was, I mean, that was beautiful to see, right?
beautiful.
But
A
on
symphony, right?
the Philippines, they were almost able to turn that around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Almost.
almost, right?
Could have argued that they took that away. I think that in hindsight, it's good to take out the Faramis ultimate, but ultimately it didn't work in their favor. Maybe
Yeah.
if it was like the Farsa ultimate,
Feathered
even
Airstrike,
Feathered
maybe.
Airstrike
Yeah.
would be different, or you know, maybe even the what else? Actually, that's the only good spell to get. So it didn't work in their favor, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem was they were quite using the Feather Airstrike a lot from early to mid game, right? And it was just the amount of time that they had complete defense to answer the reflect if Onyx Philippines used it against them, and it was a ticking time bomb as well if they wanted to have it for a greater push. But in that fight, Blacklist International turned out the better team in that defense, right?
Not only that, but just beautiful play from both teams. Honestly.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Putting it for a 25 to sweet like 26 minutes. But right now, let's throw it over to Mara with a winning team. Blacklist International with the reverse sweep up on stage.
Thank you, casters. Woo, that was a tough game number 3. Congratulations, Blacklist International. Tanungin natin si Mom Shu yung instincts niya dito dahil sa kanya, ang galing, alam mo ba sa likod, ang dami nagsabi, ang galing ni V, nahatak mo lahat. If you didn't get to do that, you might have been in trouble. What happened in that final moment? At gaano ka, ano yung nangyari sa'yo noon nung success mo ginawa?
Parang instinct na lang din talaga yung umano eh. And in-hit din kasi yung yung game. So parang, anong tawag doon? Adrenaline, yeah.
Sa moments na ganon, na successful ka, tapos na-wipe out yung kalaban, what is the first word na sinasabi mo sa comms?
Kalma lang.
Oh, kalma lang.
Yeah.
Oh!
Kasi madaming moment na kahit ganun na yung nangyari na pabaliktad pa din.
She does it with such grace. Kalma lang. Ito naman, kay Yue, kailangan natin, alam mo, ayan, sumisigaw na sila. Sabi nga ni Midnight kanina, ikaw daw, like you saved that game. Ang galing mo sa, I have to commend kasi pag nagpa-farsa ka, your positioning is so well na kapag nag-feather airstrikes ka, it was perfect, na hindi ka natatouch ng kalaban. How do you find the right position all the time?
Hindi naman po lagi na tama kasi yung kanina po, napitas po ako sa 9 crucial.
Isa lang naman yun eh. Pero when you do it even in the previous games, like you're doing so well. So with that, how do you find your skills? Paano mo yun nagagawa?
Ano po, mapwesto lang ako sa tamang posisyon kasi alam ko naman pong may haharap sa... Andyan yung mga kampi ko, may tiwala ako.
And the trust has paid off. Speaking of tiwala, may nangyari, I believe it was game number 2, na one of the reasons kung bakit talaga, main reasons kung bakit nanalo kayo is you protected Super Red so well.